So welcome everybody to the Community Preservation Committee meeting of November 12th, 2025. Certain meetings normally held at the municipal offices are being held remotely with adequate alternative means of public access and where required, public participation provided in accordance with House Bill number 58 of the 193rd General Court, which extended the governor's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, until June 30th, 2027. Meetings are typically broadcast on Frontier Community Access Television. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 6:18 p.m. The guidelines for business meeting are speak one at a time, follow Deerfield Code of Conduct, be respectful, considerate, courteous, concise, and please raise your hand before speaking to be recognized by the chair. Members present, Lily Dwight.
Here.
Ann Buchanan.
Here.
Ben Benson.
Here.
Peter James.
Here.
And Gretchen Bashesky.
Here.
Kathy Sylvester here. Guest present, Jeffrey Brown. And so first order of business is we have three different meeting minutes. So we'll have to do those one at a time. If anybody has any comments or questions about the minutes for September 17th.
Yes, I have a question, and I'm running back to it. The at the very bottom of the page, I don't understand the sentence that says undesignated money has to flow into the appropriate categories.
I think that was because at that meeting, Peter, you had mentioned how you wanted money to go back into the category from which it came. And Ben might have just, if Ben was the one that did these minutes, I think, just made note of that.
My feeling is undesignated should be changed to unspent. Because essentially the way it works is if you got money that has, say historical has 10,000 of its own money and 50,000 of undesignated, if that money's not spent, 10,000 goes back into historical and the rest goes into undesignated. So in this situation, I would say unused or unspent money has to flow into the appropriate categories.
So let me just. I talked a little bit to someone about that. I can't remember what she said. Let's see.
Kathy,
Yeah.
I think what Peter's saying is that the word undesignated money is not the correct word. It's the unspent money, because undesignated money is its own category, right? So undesignated stays the category, but unspent money does go into the undesignated fund. But I think in this sentence, it says undesignated money has to flow into appropriate categories, but it's supposed to be unspent money. I think that's what Peter's trying to say, that this is the wrong word in the minutes.
And this is from 9/17. Is that right?
9/17, yep. So it's in the first page, this second to last paragraph, the last sentence. I see you now on the doc. Yeah.
Okay. So unspent is what he's saying, I should say.
Correct.
Okay.
But I believe that the actual language from the CPA is that unspent money flows in returns to the undesignated funds, I believe.
No, it's not that. It flows to where it came from. And the DOR has talked about this, and Stuart Saginaw has a whole section on it. And I know I've had a number of conversations with Brenda Hill about it, and the way it works, unless there's a rule somewhere else that we create, which I don't even want to get into because I don't know how to do it. If you have a split, say, you do a historical project that takes $25,000 from the historical line and the rest from undesignated. If the money isn't spent, the 25 goes back into historical and the rest goes back into undesignated.
Yeah, so I did ask Brenda about it. She said if we spend our minimum in that category for that year, then if we spent it on something else, then that money will go back into the undesignated funds. So like, let's say our housing category right now has $89,000 in it. We have a project for 50,000 and we don't spend it. Well, that year, 10% of whatever money would go into housing. If it was spent, they're not going to put the remainder back into that category. They're going to put it in undesignated, is what she told me.
Well, if you categorize, here's where it gets difficult, because we'll do a project that has partially been funded through, say, historical, and the rest through undesignated, so it's coming from two sources.
Right.
The question is, if the money's not fully spent, how do we get it back to where we started? That's what we're trying to wrestle with.
Because Brenda says, and so like, let's say the minimum this year was $46,000 went into housing.
Okay, so that's their money. Housing's money.
It's housing's money. So let's say the total in housing is 89,000, but this year we put, 46,000. The rest of it came from the year before or the years before. So it totals 89,000 now. Let's say we spend 50,000. How do and they took 46 out of housing and they took 4,000 out of undesignated. I'm getting confused because I'm really bad at this. They're not going to put it all back into housing. If they take 50 out, they're not putting 50 back. They'll put, if we spend 46,000 on anything to do with housing, that other project, we might have two projects. One's for 50,000, one's for 30,000. They both came out of housing because there's 89 altogether in housing. Let's say the 30,000 doesn't get spent, doesn't go back into housing. It goes into.
I disagree. It goes back into housing.
No, I'm just telling you what they do. I'm not telling you whether it should be that way. I'm saying that's what they do. That's what Brenda told me.
And Brenda and
Can I just say that we're talking about the minutes right now. We're not actually discussing this topic.
Let's not get into the tough part of that now. I think you're right, Lily. Let's just correct the minutes and we can fight about it later.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about it later because that's just what they've been doing. So I did fix that. So is there any other comments about the minutes? So can I have a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Second? Do I have a second? I'm sorry, Ben,
I'll second it.
all those in favor, let's start with Lily.
I'm abstaining because I was not in that meeting.
Right, Alex is not there. She does not belong on this committee, sorry. Ben?
Yes,
Oh, Gretchen,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Anne,
Yes.
and Kathy, yes. So the next is the minutes. from October 1st. Is there any comments, questions about the minutes of October 1st? If not, could I have a motion
I move that we accept the minutes from October 1st as written.
and a second?
Second.
Any discussions? All those in favor, we'll start with Lily,
Aye.
Ann,
Aye.
Peter,
Yes.
Gretchen,
Aye.
Ben.
I wasn't at that meeting, I don't think, so I should
Okay,
think.
same, and Kathy, aye. And last but not least is the minutes from the public hearing of October 22nd. Any questions about that?
I move that we accept I'm very impressed that you got the minutes for that meeting, the minutes from October 22nd, the public meeting as written.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those, any discussion? All those in favor, Lily,
Aye.
Ann,
Aye.
Peter,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes, aye.
Gretchen,
Yes.
and Kathy, yes, thank you. So we're gonna move on with Andrea's here now. We're gonna talk about the final draft. The final draft, maybe.
Yes.
Yay.
Hello. Yeah,
Welcome, Andrea. Thanks for coming.
sure. So the final draft that was in Word was put into the Google Drive as a docx document. I see that some of you went in and did some stuff in there. Kathy, you're wanting or hoping that we discuss everything enough that we can approve wording and whatnot, so that this is it. Like, I'll make the final changes and no need for further discussion, hopefully, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to share the document or share the screen. Oh wait, host disabled, participant screen sharing.
Lily's fixing it.
Yeah.
You should have it, Andrea.
Okay, thanks. Oh, here it is. Wait, whoops, sorry. That's my, get the right thing up here. Okay, here it is.
There it is.
Let me make it bigger. So, on the cover, I understand Lily might have a photo for housing. Maybe we
So-
can come back to that.
Okay.
If you want to show different options after I screen share, but other than that, I changed the date to November in the cover letter and didn't do any other editing. I will make a final check on the pagination and of the automatic table of contents generating, and I'm seeing that there's a problem here with appendix A and B. I'll fix that. I changed it, and I'll go back and change the final date, change the headers to be the final version. the edits that I made to this section, which is the executive summary, is I was able to incorporate the information from the public hearing. So I counted, and I don't know if this is the official count. So if the minutes don't reflect these numbers, let me know. I didn't review the minutes yet, but I said that there were 8 members of the CPC in attendance, plus FERCog staff, 12 members of the public, and the Deerfield Planning and Economic Development Coordinator attended the hearing. And you advertised it in the recorder. I saw a little blurb on that, social media, and posted on the town website. If there are other outreach things anybody did, we can add that.
There was a notice in the Deerfield Currents newsletter.
Okay. Is that how it goes? Is it an e-newsletter or something that gets mailed out?
It's an e-newsletter, yeah.
Okay. Then I put all of the goals from the different categories in the later chapters were just copied and pasted in here so that it's all in one place. This is the wording as it was, although there's a couple little changes. And you'll notice in the historic preservation goals, there's a new bullet about protecting sites and artifacts for Indigenous peoples. That was based on Lily's comments. And then
There is a one word change that I did, so this on the, encourage the inventive, oh, no, sorry. Support the creation of affordable units that count towards the state subsidized housing inventory, because I think it was.
yeah. Okay, I think that's a good change. And then as seeing all these bullets together, I did, realize that they are kind of have different lengths. The outdoor recreation one has this kind of like categorizing, and it's a little longer than the other ones. Are people content with this as is, or would you want it to be more stylistically similar across the board?
I don't know if I have any preference myself. Lily, you have a question or a comment?
I was just gonna say, this is the reality. I don't think it makes sense to try and, I mean, everything is different, and I think this works well. It captures what isn't, but we said the goals and priorities were even at the public meeting, so I don't think we should change it now anyway.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So, well, is there any further discussion? I've minimized your screens so that I can see my screen of the document. So let me know if somebody else wants to say.
So I think we're okay.
Okay. Then section 1 is pretty much unchanged, and I think noticed a spacing issue, so that I'll change that. Lily.
I think Anne made a comment up above there, right there, under CPA eligibility, open space and recreation.
Yeah, I think there was just a space missing between the C colon and the open space.
Okay, okay,
And the space after recreation, but
Oh, yeah,
okay, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so I added this part in here about projects must be publicly accessible because we ran into that as an issue around a project, and I thought it's nice to be clear up front so people don't get ambushed by that.
Mm,
Right, Chris Harris, wherever you are.
uh-huh.
Right, yeah,
And also the whole thing about being committed to a historic designation is really important because there was someone else that we were working with that was looking at the using historic funds until it got to they were a private person but they didn't want to do the historic designation. So I think it's important to put that up front here.
Okay. That sounds like a good sentence to add. Okay, section 2, mission and guiding principles. So I made some changes to the priorities for the next 5 years section to describe the process of that went the group went through at the hearing and the priorities that were indicated on the stickers that people left. So what I listed was the ones from the most to the fewest votes. So outdoor recreation opportunities had the most stickers, and the projects that were mentioned specifically I highlighted here to prioritize, then create more affordable housing.
And my changes on this are just getting rid of the passive voice and changing it to active voice, because in expository writing, that is the
Okay.
preferred voice, okay?
That's great. Yes, thank you for
My
reading
grandmother
that.
was an English teacher, sorry.
I know, despite it being emphasized, yes, sometimes it's easy to lapse into the other form. All right, and preserving the history, the preservation of the 1821 building came up, and then open space. Thanks for those passive voice change. So that's it on that section. Do people feel, I mean, I think what it says here at the last section is these priorities in no way exclude other projects that are eligible for CPA funding. So you're kind of saying what the priorities are, but if projects, you get applications for projects that don't fit any of these, that doesn't mean you're not going to fund them.
right, yeah,
Does this work for everybody here?
works for me. I don't see any other hands up, so.
Okay,
It's good.
great. Then section 3, the revenues, expenditures, funding process. Will be an R. I don't see the change, but
That's from
Maybe
the
that's-
previous, that's just from the previous section. It's just that there
Oh.
was no more space, I guess.
oh, okay. All right, so no changes here. I had just made a note for myself because the group wanted to add fiscal year 2025 numbers and delete the 2020 numbers. So that's what I did. And here they are. Got them from your.
So I had a question about these.
Mm-hmm.
Is this before the distribution? In other words, that that historic is the easiest one to see. So historic is totally tapped. Before the distribution that we'll get a distribution this month, right? In November, isn't that when we usually get it?
So for FY 2026, historic resources will be 46,000.
Okay,
Housing will be 135,000 and change. Open space will still be 14,000, believe it or not. That is complicated, but there's a reason for that. And I do understand that much about why that is. And that's because the FY 2026 money, which would have been 46,000, was spent on what we voted on in April. They should have spent the 14,000 too, but they didn't. And it's crazy math. Crazy math.
Does that answer it, Lily, for you?
yes, it does, but will we have the FY 2026 by the end of this month? Because it seems to me that when we release this plan,
Mm-hmm.
when we start talking financial years, people do get confused. So if this plan is released in November of 2025, then if I'm an applicant coming to look at this, I would be saying, oh, there's no money in historic or something like that. I'm just wondering,
Yeah.
will we have the 2026 numbers in time for this? No?
Not have that until June 30th of 2026.
These
Oh.
are all at the end of the fiscal year, so there's no way of putting that column in now.
So,
Do you want
okay.
me to put the words end of?
Don't go there, Louie. I'm just gonna explain it later. I'm telling you, this is crazy.
I'm just like, okay.
I
I
know.
just-
If you think your head's spinning after
Yeah.
talking,
So didn't we say something somewhere around here that we were going to say what the financial years are? Because that might help.
Yeah, I remember that comment. Um,
Upcoming. See, the town.
for fiscal year 2025, we
Okay.
have this, but if you want it to be kind of in each section,
So we're actually in 2026
correct?
and yet we have no funds
have
until that.
estimated funds, okay?
Oh, we have estimated funds. Okay, great. Thank you. I will not complicate it any further, at least.
I'll
that's
explain more later.
okay.
To my best ability, which isn't gonna be good, but we'll get there.
Do you want me to say something in this paragraph of the end of the recent 5 fiscal years?
I think fiscal would make sense because then people won't be thinking of January. That would help me at least.
Okay. Not seeing the way to, let's see.
I think that's enough, honestly.
Well, let me just color it so that I can. Oh, what the heck? I don't know. I'm not getting the editing thing, so let me.
I think when you're sharing, you don't get it.
Oh, you're right.
I can jump in the doc and highlight it for you.
Okay, thanks. All right. Oh yeah, and the rest of the table, maybe I can do something to the pagination so that you see the balance on June 30th at the end. If you see the whole table at one time, it might make a little more sense. All right, continuing down, this is the section that has the timeline thing graphic, and there's some edits here about special town meeting or annual town meeting, and then, we're going to delete a mention in February. It says here, CPC holds hearing on proposed projects. We're just gonna delete February altogether. Is that? Because you're not gonna hold a hearing. That's never been done, and it's not recommended that it be done, by the
Yeah, I would
community
just,
preservation.
say we continue, CPC continues to address any outstanding applications or something to the effect, because we may,
Okay,
sometimes we're still meeting in February reviewing applications. We may need to,
CPC continues to address applications or continue to review.
yeah. Review.
And then the other thing is you have recently changed your annual town meeting date from the last Monday in April to,
Second
Something.
Monday of May,
where is it?
second Monday of May.
Okay. Okay.
I hate to be a pain in the ass, but that seems to be my job. We have on more than one occasion when an applicant has fulfilled the application, they will say that they would like to bring it up in special town meeting in the fall because they've fulfilled all the criteria, but they don't have everything that they're comfortable with yet. We did that for the 1888 building, and we did it for somebody else as well.
Mhm.
And that is something that we do, which is why I wanted to add, or special town meeting. I don't know how to express that, and I don't know if maybe it's unnecessarily complicating this. I don't know what you all think, but it is sometimes an applicant can ask to be tabled, is the language that was used, tabled until the special town meeting. And of course, they're gambling that we will have one, but we've had one every year for
I
a long
don't
time.
know that we need to put that in here, because what we're trying to do is prepare people to have it done for
Yeah.
annual town meeting.
I just didn't know if we wanted to bring it up, but I'm fine.
I don't want to give people the idea that they can do
Okay.
that.
right.
Do you want me to say the following typical timeline summarizes the different steps? With that,
I think we leave it alone because then as long as the committee understands that, especially on the larger applications sometimes, or not even just the larger ones, sometimes applicants just need to be able to table it to the next town meeting. I mean, it has happened more than once.
okay.
I don't think we need to mention it, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to mention it without, then giving people, like, I don't know, I want people to do that. Normally, it's only in extenuating circumstances that would happen.
Does that mean no, don't add this or special town meeting?
No, because that refers to the acquisition of conservation land, right? So that can happen all year long, and let's see,
Oh, yeah, okay.
since it's a rolling basis, I think.
And I think senior housing actually was
sure.
at a special town meeting too.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So leave this as is right now.
Yeah, but do we want to add housing in there, maybe? Because what if we wanted to acquire some property for housing that came available?
But we don't have a housing trust, so,
But let's say that, it came available
no, that's true.
August and we decided we wanted to try to buy it and it's a meeting in October or something.
The CPC may vote to consider applications for housing acquisitions, municipal.
But you know what, I mean, why? So why not historic as well?
Alan has a,
Don't make it too complicated.
Yeah,
Remember, this
Maybe
is
just, yeah, maybe just delete out acquisition of conservation land, just delete out conservation, and just leave it as land. Does
oh,
that make sense?
yeah,
And there's like a couple places, like the first sentence, the CPC recognizes that acquisition of conservation land, that one should be deleted. Oh, no, sorry. No, in that same paragraph you were in, Andrea, apologies. And then, yeah, probably that conservation land too, just acquisitions of land or conservation restrictions, or you could just say, yeah, just delete out conservation, I think, because it could be a historic restriction too.
for housing.
Yeah.
Or recreation.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Project execution. One change from. Okay, Peter says strike undesignated. As it is. Oh, well, this goes back to that other.
well, it's done to simplify because we can fight this battle later, and we may never have to fight it, but we don't want to define it now. So you got to pull undesignated out. It just means
Okay.
that people have to bring it back in. We can figure out where it goes, but we don't want to typecast that right now.
Okay, sounds good. And then Kathy edited this, the CPC to say the CPC requires annual project status updates from fund recipients due on November 1st with a final update date due upon or on completion of the project. Sounds good.
That's in our application as far as the updates.
Okay,
On November 1st.
so it's not a May, it's a standard practice that you do.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, so then this is the historic preservation section. One new word from Lily. The movement. Okay, yep, sounds good.
yeah.
Delete in 2020.
Yeah,
Okay.
it just, you can say Treehouse Brewery purchased it and opened in 2022, because that's,
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
No need to-
appropriate. Thank you.
okay, yep, sounds good. This is that new goal. People good with the wording of it?
yeah, it's fine with me.
I
Okay. Housing. Yeah, that seems like a good as instead of because.
yeah, I'm not sure that correlation is causation. I just don't know, so I figured as would be, cover both bases.
Yeah,
sounds good.
okay, sounds good. Um,
Diane is right. The Sugarloaf condos made this huge bump.
Okay.
yeah, but it was, the way it's written, it sounds like it's going to continue, but I don't think it is.
Well, it looks like, I mean, look at this graph here.
But that's because the condos were finished in 2022.
Oh, so there are that many?
Yeah,
Yep, 72 of them.
Oh, okay. Okay. Um, I mean, it could say housing development appeared or what? To pick up again.
Why don't you say something
As-
like housing development spiked from 2019 to 2022 with the
Yeah,
development
that's good.
Oh,
of Sugarloaf condos? Because
Yeah.
right now the average is 2.3 houses a year, I believe.
how many units you said?
70.
70 unit.
Project. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that. Okay, so the housing goals, a couple word edits, encourage infill development within the South Deerfield Village to promote a walkable and vibrant town center instead
Yeah,
of
that was just
encourage.
not use encourage
Yeah.
twice, that's
That
all.
sounds good. Okay, yep. And then support the creation of affordable units that count toward, that's similar to your previous edit, or it's the same as your previous edit. Okay, that looks good. Open space. Of the towns in, okay. I'll probably say municipalities just because Greenfield is a city, but and this text thing is an artifact of going into Google, so it won't look like that in the final draft graph. Yeah, it says, oh, there's a sentence with no period. Yep, I'll fix that. Delete in. Okay, yep, it's an extraneous word. On page 35, the figure is 351, same survey. Okay. I'll look that up in the OSRP and see what they said. Okay, and then Appendix A is this table that we've gone through before. And this is the one that the project that got canceled, this recreation land, that's the one that Brenda told me this money went back into the general fund rather than a specific account, but I guess it sounds like you're gonna change that practice maybe. So do you want there to be an Appendix B that just gives a link to the application material?
I think that's fine.
Okay.
I don't have any problem keeping it in there just because it points people back to the process. People go through 43 pages and then say, then what do we do? You got to get them back to the pre-app and the app.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Andrea.
Yay.
Andrea,
That poor Ann,
Um,
talking about, we don't meet like this usually. It's kind of every month all year long and sometimes twice a month. And so she, being new to the committee, just thought this was normal. It's not. But thank you.
yeah, these projects can be extra work, which
It's really great that we.
Mhm.
Um,
Lily, did you want to show the photos that could go on the cover or send me them, or how do you want to
I
do that?
mean, do people really care? I was just gonna I have a couple of rolls of blueprints since we don't have any housing in Deerfield. I was thinking that we did housing blueprints because it feels more active, like
Uh-huh.
like future oriented, right? Then that's future goals. So I don't know if people really care. Does anybody care or anybody else have other ideas for representing housing on the cover?
any comments?
Sounds fine to me.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
all right.
I'll leave it to Lily's discussion.
Okay, I'll get those to you. I'll put them right up in the drive. I just got a couple of open source images of blueprints with housing, and you can fiddle with
Okay.
it as it works. Okay,
Can you send me a link to that drive? I don't know if I have the main drive
sure. I'll
link
put
or something. So yeah.
Yeah, I will put them up there, and I think they're in the drive. Did I put them?
Dave,
I was showing them to Kathy.
I think I might have on the drive, but I can't remember.
Okay.
All right, don't worry about it. I'll deal with that after
Okay.
this meeting, I promise. Everybody else doesn't have to wait.
Okay.
All right. And so I will send Kathy a PDF and Word version of the final document. I know your group does prefer Google Docs, and I don't know if this is a problem, like when you update it in the future, will this create a formatting issue? But I feel like I'm more proficient in Word rather than Google in Word or Google itself. And I was able to tag the photos so that people who are visually impaired can get a read description of each of those. And I don't know how to do that in Google Docs. I don't even know if it's a capability that they have. Maybe they do, but
What does Alex, does Town Hall have Microsoft software?
Yeah, we actually don't have Google.
So
Just you
that
guys.
probably does make the most sense.
Yeah. The committees do mostly use Google Drive, though, to be fair. But I think either, right? Like, I mean, we could always format it back and forth in a few years when we need to.
Okay, so you'll send it to me, I'll forward it to the committee and I can give you the heads up that it's good to go.
yeah.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
It's
Andrea.
been nice working with all of you.
thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Bye.
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 So it's 7:07 and a little later than I expected. We'll see how far we can get through the agenda here. The next item on the agenda was to discuss whether to have a public hearing on the projects. And I think we've kind of decided not to, if everybody's okay with that, because it's not recommended by the CPA, actually. I don't know how that got started other than reading it in the draft of the plan, and I thought, oh, we're supposed to do that, but then Stuart Saganor said, no, you're not. So,
I move that we not have public hearings on projects, that our meetings are public meetings and people are welcome to attend them.
Well, I think you're right, Lily. That's a public meeting, and it's noticed, and there's an agenda published. You don't need to duplicate that process.
so you're seconding, I assume. Is that right?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, I'll say Ann.
Yes.
Aye.
Peter said aye, Ben.
Aye.
Aye.
Haley,
Aye.
Gretchen,
Aye.
and Kathy. Yes, thank you. Next thing on the agenda is, oh God, is trying to explain the finances to you, which I will admit is probably beyond my capability, but I can give you the basic heads up. So I'm going to share my screen if I can, to give you what I understand. So I think it's probably important to know how much money we have before we go on discussing applications. So let's see if I can do that. So if you see this, this is the page 1 of the CP2 form, which tells us how we ended the fiscal year 2025, which ended on June 30th. So we had a fund balance from the prior year, $4,522,319.24. And we collected a surcharge on people's, property tax of $323,233.74, and the state contributed their match of $160,758. We earned a whopping $272,516.90. Our investments, because we have so much money that was in the invested from the 1888 building, that's, we had over $4 million. So we actually made quite a lot of money on just interest. And then we had $551.90 interest on the CPA surcharge money that we had. So total revenues for the year of 2025 ending on June 30th was $757,060.54. Then we had expenditures. So the expenditures, this is, now I gotta write my notes because I'm really bad at this. Okay, the 4 million expenditure, what they did is they took the 3.8 million that we voted for the 1888 building, and they moved it to the capital project fund. So they took it out of the CPA fund. We're still getting the interest that accumulates on that money while it's still in, invested or in the bank or whatever. The rest of that was for other projects under historic that we spent, and I can't remember exactly what that was. And then community housing spent $22,449. So the total spent was $4,102,577.49. And we spent $5,157,000 so far and 48 cents of administrative expenses, partly due to dues that we pay to the Community Preservation Coalition every year of like $1,700, and FERCog that we spent for doing this plan, and some advertising in the Reporter. So on page 2, this is showing that we have some encumbrances, which we have $422,681 set aside for town common and senior housing. Town common has $350,000 that was set aside for that project, and $72,000 and change for that we already voted for the senior housing project that they still have to spend if needed. And then the $57,000 is money that we've set aside for things we voted on in April under the open space projects that we approved of in April. There's still 14,000 in the open space fund. I don't know why they didn't take that money for those projects. They should have, but anyway, they didn't. They took, I'm not quite sure how they did it, but they didn't do it right, but that's what happened. So, and then fund balance reserve for historic resources, there's nothing. Fund balance reserve for community housing at the end of the year, there's another $89,455 that is in housing for future projects. And supposedly in undesignated, there's $588,508.53. That's kind of not accurate completely from what I understand. Some of that money is what's called unrealized gains, and we are encouraged not to spend that. That's money that towns, municipals, Peter can probably explain this better than me. Towns have money that they, have for projects. It's invested. And when we need it, we take it out of those investments, but anything that is growth is considered unrealized gain unless you take it out. So you don't really want to count on that money. So I spent a lot of time on figuring this out with Holly, and she sent me an email. So this is where things ended on June 30th. July 1st, they then add in the anticipated money that we're going to get from in the fiscal year 2026 from tax receipts and the state. We get about $480,000, any 1 year from those two categories. So we have estimated for 2026 that we will be adding $46,000, which would be 10% of the 460,000 we anticipate getting into each of the three categories, and the remainder will go into the undesignated fund balance. Are you with me? Because if you are, I'm amazed. I'm not even sure I'm with me.
I think you're doing a great job. I have a question about administrative expenses.
Yeah.
Where is that?
Yeah, that's not there, and I'm not sure I
Okay.
can hear that. But
Because one of the things I'm wondering is we must have a big pot in there by now that I'm wondering if maybe that's one of the things that as a committee we might want to consider moving a chunk of that money into the undesignated funds if we can.
well,
Oh, I'm sorry, Lily, what are you talking about? Are you talking about expense money?
I'm talking about the administrative,
Peter,
yeah.
let me
You
just,
don't use it in the same year, it goes into undesignated.
Peter,
It's automatic.
just, give me a chance to answer the question, which
Okay.
is that money every year goes back.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So where am I now? So I got an email from Holly this afternoon, and this is what she gave me as an upshot. I don't think FY 2027 is accurate. I think it should say 2026. So I couldn't talk to her after she sent this email to get, there's 14,000 in open space. There should be another $46,000 that will come in July 1st of next year. Because we're anticipating every July about $460,000 incoming. Then what we vote on over the next few weeks is money that can be spent come July 1st of next year. Some of it can be spent before that because we have it, and some of it can be spent once July 1st happens because it's anticipated funds. So there should be another 46,000 in open space, another 46,000 will go into well, there was nothing in historic preservation, so that'll be 46,000. 46,000 will go into community housing, which will bring it up to $135,455. And the total estimated revenues FY 2027 is 460. This is where it gets a little squidgy. I don't understand this. There's 145,000 budgeted reserve remaining from FY 2026. I don't know where that comes from. And the fund balance, it basically, she said we have plenty of money for what we have on the table this year. And I'm just going to have her come and talk to us. And now I'm going to say, Peter, if you can explain anything better than I have here, because these numbers don't all add up to me when I look at the CP2 and form. But
Here's where I get kind of sideways. The way this appears to have been explained to you is we can't touch monies that we get in fiscal 26 until July 1, which is fiscal 27. That doesn't square too well, because the community is paying into the CPA surcharge all through this fiscal 26. We should be able to access that. But she's saying that, apparently saying that you can't touch that money until the end of the fiscal year, we're all fighting for the same thing. How much money do we really have to spend during this fiscal year and commit to at the annual meeting? It seems to me that what they're saying is we can commit to it, but we can't spend it until July 1 of 26. So I think there's definitely clarity that's necessary here. But I also agree that we got to have plenty of money here. And I think we were all concerned, and I saw your email earlier, Kathy. We got these 5 projects that are not offensive projects, and we want to be able to get through them this year.
yeah, so I think we're good. But I have told Holly that I think it would be really helpful if she just came to a future meeting, because I can't answer your questions. Because my eyes get crossed with all this stuff. All I know is we have plenty of money. Okay.
All right, we got enough money to get through fiscal 26.
Yes, that's all we need to know for voting. But if you really want to know how to make sense of this, we need Holly. And if you understand after she's done, you're doing better than I am.
Your email was concerned about the categories of funds, not the total amount of money, right? And what you're telling us is that that's not a problem.
Yeah, that's not a problem. That the way I understood it was not correct.
Okay.
So don't worry about it. There's plenty of money in all the categories, and what's not in the category, we can take out of undesignated funds. So,
All right, so we can pay for all this stuff that we want to approve. That's good.
Okay.
yeah. So I'm going to stop sharing unless anybody has any other questions that they want to ask here. I'm just looking. Nope. Okay. So now I want to move on, if we can, to where are we going here? The meeting house. So Alex, why don't you take it away at this point?
Okay. So our application really from the select board. So I'm really just an envoy for them tonight, since they have a meeting that started at 6 too. We are, midway through our 1888 construction project. And so, continuing on the municipal campus project and visioning, we're really starting to look at the 1821 former South Deerfield Congregational Church. And so there's been a lot of work over the last few years on the church itself. Obviously the library is moving out, 1888's going on. So now we're kind of, in this planning process, and how are we visioning reusing this space now that the library is out? We're just going to have a giant empty town building that, we really should be putting to good use and purpose. And so our project really is based on a cost estimate, most recently from 2024. Paul Olszewski, I think he's the designated town clock official, He actually asked Steeplejack, which is it's a specialty trade, I would say, in construction, to come and give us an estimate when they were in the area to restore the steeple, because although the roof's been redone on the meeting house and most of the building, and although we've shored up some of the, roofing and the second floor of the meeting house, the clock tower has just really always been kind of the thing that either like the funding ran out or it was just too complicated or too difficult. And it's a specialty trade, like I said. And so our project, honestly, 75% of the budget that we requested goes towards shoring up that clock tower. We do need to do some more structural assessments. It was kind of fixed because it was pretty precarious, I'd say. But there is still water coming in. The roof shingles need to be done. It needs some weatherproofing. There is some rot going on currently, and there's photos of that in the estimate we received. And because this will occur in the next fiscal year, we added a pretty generous 20% contingency, just because there's lead paint abatement. We're not totally sure what the full structural shoring up will be of the clock tower. And then the weather vane will also be redone. And we do fully anticipate doing it to the Secretary of Interior standards. That's why the cost is so much, really, is because as they do the exterior treatments, they're going to really have to go in and replicate some of the rotted wood pieces. They're going to have to hand scrape it. And so, we're trying to treat it the way that it really needs to be honored as a historic asset. And then the other part of it is, the meeting house currently, it's, almost 200 years old. There's so many rumors. I'm sure everyone's heard of how it moved down the road and into its current place. And there's just, the underlying concern that the foundation is pretty precarious as well. And so we really need to look at what the floor loading is. We need to bring it up to building code. It is probably going to trigger some sprinkler requirements. I talked with our building commissioner, Bob, and he did say, even if we cleared all the pews and reopened it and put in heating and stuff, he still wouldn't be able to increase the occupancy to more than 49 people. So we really need to look at what the floor loading is. We need to bring it up to code. We need to make sure there's an accessible entrances. There is an entrance from the current library, but I question if the doorway is actually wide enough to do that. And so we'd really like to start looking at what the next steps are going to be to bring this space in the full building into usability for the town and for the residents. So yeah, I'd be happy to take any questions.
I have a question. Is it put in under historic for the purpose of CPA funds, or is it, are you doing historical preservation because it's a way of getting funding, or is it because we want to, in other words, if it's a meeting house, could it also fall under recreation?
I don't know. I guess I figured the historic preservation made more sense because the exterior does need to be treated. It is a building that's designated by the Historic Commission as a historic structure. And I think because it's interior, right, I didn't think interior recreation stuff was allowed under CPC. So
my mistake. But I just wanted to make sure, because you said it costs more, I was trying to figure out if, there was another way of doing it, but Lily, go ahead.
So I have a question. You mentioned the occupancy limit. Is that because it's not sprinkled? I was a little confused. You mentioned sprinkling and then the occupancy limit. So are you just saying that there'll be no more than 49 people? Because you can bet there were more than 49 people who used to go to church there.
Because of how precarious the floor loading is, and we're not sure if it could support the weight of
Oh,
more
right
than
now.
that many people right now.
Oh, you're saying right now. Okay, so the goal
Yes.
is to
Increase
it.
occupancy.
All right, so thank you. I just couldn't understand.
Apologies. Yeah, sorry.
All right, thank you.
It's all together.
So do you have somebody like designated as a historical preservation person that's going to oversee the project?
We don't currently, but I could definitely look into that. The Pioneer, or what was their name? Anyway, they are pretty, I'd say, well known and renowned. They've done a bunch of steeples and clock towers around New England. So yeah, we can absolutely get MHC or, someone to come in and be a consultant for it.
I know the H&88 building has somebody, so.
And Alex, I was responsible for getting the steeple painted at the First Church in Old Deerfield. And
Cool.
there's a very excellent firm that does steeples and bell towers and just about nothing else out of Torrington, Connecticut. So I can put you in touch with them. But I'm wondering, I mean, the Historical Commission hasn't had much to say about this or discuss with you. I can't imagine that we'd be opposed, but whatever support we've given you, I'm fuzzy on where and when we said that.
On where you said that and when?
Where did we write you? That was the two meetings ago. We gave you a letter saying that we believed it was very good. Have we given you anything more than that, or is that sufficient for your needs?
Oh, no, I thought that was sufficient to just
Okay.
make sure it was an eligible project. under
Everybody
the-
was in favor of that then. I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No further
Okay,
since
good.
then.
Okay.
Go for it, Lily.
So, you have multiple people to bid this out to, right? Based on what Ben said and who you got from Mr. Olszewski, right?
Yeah, it exceeds the procurement threshold, so we'll
Right.
absolutely have to bid it out. Yeah, we couldn't just go with these folks.
I thought your application was very complete and I appreciate. your
34
time.
pages, I think, it's like.
Sorry.
No, I mean, it was very thorough and I just, but you could tell that Alex has done this before. Yeah, you did
Yeah,
great
and
job.
I'll say I don't know that we'd need a historic preservation consultant only because the exterior is so minimal. Like we'll have to go through MHC and submit a project notification form, and I've done that quite a bit. But since this is just exterior treatments and it's replacement in kind, they're usually not as worried as like a big reuse project like 1888, where you might be diminishing characteristics that make it historic. So
Okay.
anyway, we'd be sure to navigate that and make sure.
Any other comments? Do people feel ready to vote on this project?
The only question I have I mean, I have no problems with voting on the project, but I think the issue is whether we're going to put how we're going to structure conditions. And I'm a little fuzzy at the end of the night tonight to say I've got a whole bunch of conditions here because it's a well done application, but there definitely are going to be conditions and it'll take us a while to write that up. I certainly would entertain a motion to approve it subject to conditions and then continue the meeting, continue it for another meeting to discuss the conditions.
I think that sounds good, Peter. I would
Yeah.
make a motion.
Well, why don't I just try it? I move to endorse the application subject to conditions that need to be dealt with before the final approval occurs.
I second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor, Lily,
Yes.
Anne,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Gretchen, and Kathy, yes. Great.
Thank you.
So more to be, discussed, but it sounds great. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, it's exciting that building is getting resurrected and I just can't wait to see what it's gonna end up being. It's really, really, downtown is coming together. I just need that senior housing finished.
I do have a question. I mean, years ago, I was on CCI and TBAC was recommending that the building be torn down, and I'm very glad it's not. But is TBAC involved in this conversation? All the TBAC stands for Town Building
Advisory committee.
Advisory Committee. Thank you.
I did forward it on to them, well, to Julie, who's the chair, Julie Chalfont, as the head of CPIC, and to that. So I mentioned it in both hats, just as a heads up, since I also cited their facilities condition assessment. But I think overall, I have not heard anyone in favor of the tearing it down method at this point. Maybe one person, but I won't share their name here.
Thank you. I was
Let
just,
me guess, but I won't. All right, in any event, that's good. That's the most difficult, I think, application that we received just because of its complexity. And of course, I bump into Paul on my morning walks periodically, and so I get a full evaluation. He
Yeah,
did a good job. He did a good job to put the fellow together that could give us an idea as to the scope of the project. And now you've just got to do the fine stuff.
yeah, and he did review it before I submitted it, the application. So
glad so.
he's been in lockstep. We've been working on
And
it
when I bump
together.
into him within the next morning or two, I will just merely smile and say, "You got your way."
Thanks.
Thank you. So
Thank you.
we'll go next on the agenda is the the Mill River application, which Ben submitted. So Ben, you want to just talk a little bit about that?
Very simply, there are 30 graves in the Mill River Cemetery that are in some state of disrepair, and we're seeking to repair them as we have had other graves in other graveyards taken care of. The vendor who we've used in the past is reliable, local, and flexible for our purposes. I think his price is fair. I know Laurel Hill is also applying to use his service as well. Since we have no standing cemetery committee for the town, it's incumbent on the historical commission to take the lead on making this request, but we don't have any funding for that, so we came to the CPC.
Thank you. Lily.
where is the Mill River Cemetery?
Peter asked me that earlier today. Why do you guys not know your hometown? Come on.
Hey,
If
I
you
looked
want-
on Google Maps and couldn't find it.
Oh, come on. Go to the transfer station. Continue to follow Mill Village Road or Lee Road, and when it comes to a four-way stop with Stillwater,
Oh, that's
the
it?
cemetery's on the left.
Oh, I didn't know that was its name.
That's exactly what I said to him this afternoon after feeling stupid having gone by it about 1,000 times since I've lived in town.
Yeah. I mean, you can't avoid it. It's not a prominent cemetery, but it has served the 19th and pretty much first half of the 20th century. I don't know that there's anybody significant in there, but graves are graves, and it's part of our history.
So I have a question about maintenance because I know that through the years, cemetery recovery, we'll call it, and restoration has come through this committee.
Right.
But what happens after?
The DPW takes care of maintenance,
Like, is that like mowing and stuff, but not
mowing,
lawns?
trimming. If you drove up Upper Road in the last 6 months, you will notice that the fence in front of the Baptist Cemetery, which sits in front of my house, is completely changed. They cut down the whole hedge and dug it out because it was awful, and they put up a nice wooden fence, and that was good. In addition, I got in touch with the DPW over the course of it took me 3 supers to get through, but Matt Morse has done a terrific job. There was a large dead tree aimed out over the graveyard, and I suggested that it would cost the DPW a great deal more to repair the graves and clean up the cemetery if they let the tree fall down by itself. So they came and had it taken away. And oh yeah, I'm very lucky I got the wood, but you should see the size of it. However, the DPW basically takes care of most cemeteries. There is one which is semi-private. You wouldn't know it's there. And it's in the backyard of a family further down Upper Road. If you're related to the Howe family, they're happy to have you go there. They take care of it themselves at no expense to the town. There are a couple other really hidden cemeteries. I'm working on one in the Historical Commission that is tiny and also desperately overwhelmed by falling trees and overgrown brush. But mostly the easy answer is that the DPW maintains them and the Historical Commission seeks funds to repair graves.
Anne? You're on mute, so.
What do they do to the gravestones?
They write them up, put them in a standard foundation that will keep them vertical because these are tipping over backwards, and in some cases they are broken, so they may have to be restored with a special kind of cement they have. Then they treat them with anti-fungal materials. I think it is as a standard treatment. That doesn't come at an additional cost. It's part of what the work they do.
Can
But
they fix the lettering?
they'll clean it. To make it visible is the hope, but it's relatively simple, but it involves special materials and equipment that very few people seem to specialize in. We've used Kai Nalins for at least the last 15 years, and he's worked in the Sugarloaf Street Cemetery, Laurel Hill Cemetery, the old Albany Road Burial Ground, and it's not as if I'm going around looking for projects to spend our money on, but the 30 graves in a graveyard with 330 or so, it seemed like it was time to do it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I move that we accept the application, that we approve the application.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, Lily,
Yes.
Anne,
Yes.
Gretchen,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Ben,
Should I vote since I was on proposal? I'm on two committees.
Absolutely, you should.
Okay,
vote.
yes, I vote yes.
and Kathy, yes. Congratulations. That is approved. And let's see, we have progress reports on funded projects are in the drive for your review if you would like to see them. Given the time, I think we should end the meeting unless we have any unanticipated business. Does anybody have anything to discuss? We need to set the next meeting. We have, I believe, 3 more applications to review. One is the other cemetery that Chris put forth, the tack painting that Chris put forth, and also the open space application, which I think we could do in one meeting. And so I'm looking at the calendar. We could do December 3rd, December 10th. I'm going to ask Chris, does either of those dates work for you? Chris?
Yeah, sorry. We can make either dates work. So
Okay.
whatever works for your committee.
Thank you.
I can't do the 10th.
Okay. Does the 3rd work for everybody here?
I can do the 10th, but not the 3rd.
We could put it off till next month if you want. What's before us now is not a lot.
We're talking about next month now, but how about the 17th? Chris, can you do the 17th of December?
Yeah, I'm good with the 17th also.
And how about everybody else?
We have a senior housing meeting, but that should be over by 6. So if we do it at 6:15, that would work.
For you, Gretchen?
Yes, it does.
Everybody else is okay?
Yeah, 12/17.
Why don't we do
Is Ben still gonna be with us, or is this your last one, Ben?
I think this is the stuff that I've been working on. I have been involved with discussing the tack painting, but I think Jeff is up to speed on that, and I'm happy to have him deal with it. I really am very pleased that the tack painting has been conformed to our needs and expectations, because I think we all agree in the Historical Commission that it's a project should be done. It should be done right. It's got to be done according to the rules.
So, I asked Ben to stay with committee till the plan was complete, which I'm thinking is complete. And he'll leave because he's taken on the chair position of the Historical Commission. It's just a lot, so.
Not that I don't like you guys. I just, I don't want to make promises I can't keep.
But in his place is Jeffrey Brown. Thank you for stepping up. We really appreciate it. And we're happy to have you. So thank you. So I think you're going to finish whatever you have to do, like you have to resign and.
Right.
And
I'm
you
trying to do that the right way because I've done some things the wrong way.
figure out what Jeffrey has to do to be appointed to the committee. I mean, your committee already approved it, so I
Yes, we have.
find out with Greg what else has to happen, and you have to, and then Jeff, I need to meet with you at some point to give you a little orientation to the CPC, because I realize that I haven't done that in the past, and I should. So I'll be in touch with you about that.
So the reason I asked about Ben was if Jeffrey's coming on board, does December 17th work for Jeffrey too?
That's great. That's a good point.
Yes, that works for me.
Great.
And I guess we'll have to get a new minute taker. Well,
Yeah, well, so if nobody is going to come forward, my process was going to be to go in alphabetical order by first names. So Anne is up. And if somebody wants to be the permanent clerk, we would all applaud you and love you dearly, but we're gonna have to do it that way.
so are you thinking to rotate it each meeting?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that seems fair.
I don't know what else to do. So
Who knows, maybe after next time I'll love it.
that's right, that's right. So what else? Is there anything else? Does any public comment? I did think I wanted to ask this one thing was, would PBMA be willing to come to the meeting to discuss any questions we might have? If you.
Yeah, Tim usually is quite available. I'll work with him on that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, I think we're good. So if
I move we adjourn.
I second.
all those, any discussion? No, all those in favor? Gretchen,
Oh, yeah.
Peter,
Aye.
Anne. Anne say yes?
Yes.
Ben?
Yes.
And Lily?
Yes, and thank you so much, Ben. We're gonna miss you.
Yeah.
We will miss you, Ben.
I'm going to miss you guys. This is good work, and I'm glad to have been a part of it. Thank you.
Yeah, it is.
And Kathy, I'm sorry to see you go, but I appreciate Jeff stepping up.
And
So,
I've got 7:46. Does that sound right?
that's right. We'll see you all on December 17th. Okay.
Thank you very much, all.
Thank
Everybody.
you, guys.
Bye.
Good night.